Guys, how you doing? All right, so I finally got to record this video. It's been a very crazy week. Um, this week, last week also, right? So basically, I just wanted to. It's going to be a short video. I'll make it as short as possible. But I just wanted to start the entire conversation that we'll be having for these 8 weeks with your work, career, whatever it is that you're doing, because it plays a very fundamental role in your preparation to get married. Okay, so I just wanted to do this and get it out of the way before we go into things that relate to relationship, right? So your work is very crucial as men. Work is so fundamental, so crucial, and getting that aspect right before you go into marriage is just the wise thing to do, right? So if you think about the story of Adam, when God made Adam, the first thing God did for Adam was to give him a job or give him work to do, not job, but give him a work to do. Because you notice, and I'll try to distinguish between what the work is and what the job is. So Adam did not need supplies per se. I mean, he had everything in abundance. I mean, to meet his need, but God still said, "I need you to tend this garden and work it. I need you to cultivate the garden." And that was that was how Adam was going to add value to creation. Okay, so um, even for someone like Adam that didn't necessarily need a job or a salary, God still said, "I'm going to keep you engaged so that you can contribute to mankind and contribute to creation." All right. Also, I think in book of Proverbs 24:27, it says, prepare your work outside or prepare your work without, make it fit for yourself, and afterwards build a house, build a home. Right? Meaning that focus on your work, get that aspect right first. Then afterwards, you can then build a home. That is, having a wife and building a family together. All right, and so it's so crucial that this is sorted out first. Okay, and so like I said, I'm going to try to differentiate between a work and a job. So a job is something that pays your bill, is an activity that you do that pays your bills. Okay, while a work is how you contribute to creation, how you contribute to humanity. That's the thing that you do to contribute to humanity. Now, for very lucky people, I'll call them lucky because not everyone has um, both of them in one. But very lucky people, they have both their work and their job as one thing that they are doing. And for those people, they are very fortunate because the thing that they're using to contribute to humanity is also the thing that's paying their bills. And I mean, that's the fantastic combination there. However, if what you're currently doing is not what you intend to do long term, but it's just what you're doing at the moment to pay your bills, I mean, it's still okay. Before you get married, you need to have one of both at least. You need to have a job or a work or both. You can't get into marriage without having anyone, right? And I see people try to make that mistake a lot, where they try to get into marriage without having settled one of both. Okay. In fact, there is. I can give a couple of, but I won't need to go into any examples at this point, right? Because I don't know how far the video will go. And so you need to sort out one at least. At least one needs to be sorted out. At least one needs to be sorted out. And why is that important? I'll give you three reasons why one of them at least should be sorted out. The first is, um, for men, our work is what anchors us. For men, we are anchored by our work. That's where we even get our sense of belonging or identity from. So you notice that when men meet, when two men are meeting for the first time, one of the first things that they begin to talk about is what they do. Their work. What are you doing? So that's the first conversation. For women, it's not usually the case. They might go into talking about family. If they notice that they're both married, they might talk about family. That maybe just be the breaking icebreaker for them. But for men, usually your work that you would have to talk about first. That places you in a social strata. When people want to size you up, they will ask about your work. They will check you out from that angle, right? And so it gives you a sense of worth. The work that you do provides you a sense of worth. The contribution that you are making to humanity gives you a sense of value. You feel that you're bringing value to the table or to humanity or to conversations or to communities that you're part of. Okay, that's one. That's one reason why that is important. Secondly, income. So your work or your job will provide you some measure of income, and that income is very important because it enables you to become a to be to play the role of a provider to yourself and to your family, right? So as men, we need to, though we're not the ultimate providers. I'll need to say this upfront, because I mean, while we go on, I would explain to you how the dynamics are changing. There are women that earn more than men these days, in a family, right? So your job, your aim is not to be the sole provider, but you need to bring something to the table in terms of money. It's very crucial. I mean, if that is not happening, it's going to really mess with your mind. It will mess you up so badly, right? That you will probably lose yourself if you're not bringing money to the table. It's very important. And Yeah, so I would also share with you a resource that I read some many years ago, about 6 years ago, that was done by Leke Alda, about, just, it was like he had this series that he used to do, Jack and Jill. So I'll just share that resource with you maybe after now, just so that you understand. He was basically talking to the female folk that want to get married to a man that is not working, and so, but what he described there, you'll be able to relate with it as a man also, and the degree to which a man can lose himself when he's not able to provide for the basic things for his family. So that is number two, income. A job or a work provides you with some measure of income that you can put on the table as a means of providing for your family. Thirdly, a work or a job gives you a platform for growth. As a we constantly need to evolve as we grow older. We need to grow. We need to evolve, and so a work gives you a platform, gives you a direction for growth, basically. Okay, and we so without that, it becomes very difficult for you to sometimes it's difficult for you to push yourself to growth if there is nothing you are aiming at in terms of a work or a career. Okay, and so if you are in a state where you maybe have a job, but it's not something you want to do long term, right? I would walk you through a framework that would enable you discover what you want to do long term. It's going to really help you. It helped me when I was in the woods. There was a season of my life where I had just, I was in the ERP industry for so many years, and it got to a point where I just felt, see, I don't think I want to do this long term. I just felt, like the industry is shifting. I wanted to move on to do something else. I've really felt very that way in my heart, but I didn't know where I wanted to pivot to. So, but this framework kind of helped me In the later years, after I'd been in the woods for a while, but in the later years, it helped me to find the direction I wanted to go. Okay, and so um, um, just to back out a little bit, just before I go into that framework, it's called the Nine Lives Framework. But before I go into the framework, um, like I said earlier when I started, you the best case scenario is where your job and your work are one and the same thing. So you don't have to be doing so many different things, so many things, and say this one is my work, this one is my. You just have 24 hours in a day, so you want to maximize that time, and you want to be more efficient in what you're doing or how you show up in life. And so as much this framework basically is basically trying to help you to gravitate towards a job that is also your life work. Okay. And I'm not saying you must do this, you must begin that journey right, like immediately, but it's something to have at the back of your mind if you get to a point where you feel, I don't think I want to do this, what I'm currently doing long term. I want to focus on something that I'm really passionate about, something I really I can do for maybe under 20 years. Okay, because in our career journey we evolve as we go. There are times where you feel, okay, this is something I want to do for a long. I remember when I was at the peak of my ERP career, just before I moved to one of the one very large multinational um, here in Nigeria. I when I was trying to get into the job, I said I wanted to do this for the next 10 years. That's what I said to myself. I'm going to do this for the next 10 years at least before I, reevaluate. Unfortunately, it didn't last 10 years. About 3 years, the company left Nigeria, and all of that. Though I continued for another 3 years or so, but by the end of the fifth year, I felt, I don't want to do this anymore. So that can happen to you where you feel, oh, I want to do something for the long term, but right now, uh, this is what I mean. You want to do something for the long term, but maybe some years down the line, you get disinterested in whatever you're doing. This framework is going to help you find what interests you at the moment and how you can pivot your career. Because if you stay on that straight jacket for a long time, there's a high chance that the market will leave you and you would be stranded at some point. Because things keep changing, the world is changing, technology is changing, a lot of things are changing, and so you need to keep evolving as the market is evolving, right? So the Nine Lives framework, this is what it is, right? Number one is that you take out a sheet of paper and assume that you have 9 lifetimes. Okay, you have the opportunity to come back into the world 9 times, so 9 lifetimes. And in each lifetime, you're only permitted to do one thing that you are really excited about. Forget about whether there is money, money is. I just imagine money is taken care of, but this is one thing you want to do. This is how you feel. I can really contribute to humanity and contribute to mankind and move humanity forward. So you would have to select one career for each of those 9 lifetimes. Just one career for each of those 9 lifetimes. Right? When you are done with that exercise, you will find that you have put on paper the kind of careers that you will be most interested in pursuing. Okay. Now, that's the first step. The second step is that you look through all those careers and think to yourself, which of these can I begin to do now? Okay. Now, you don't have to quit your job if you have a job already. You don't have to quit that job, but just think about which of them can I begin to do now? And then you take that one and add it to your current job at the moment as a side job, right? Something on the side. You can start building, doing something about it on the side. Okay, and then you continue to do that every year you look for the opportunity to add one of those careers to what you currently do. You would find that as you go, maybe by the end of the first year, you may have built that side one to a point where it can take over your current job if your current job is not on your list of your nine careers. You can build that up to the point where it takes over, or it is thriving. It is like equally thriving. This is your job is thriving, or your day job is thriving, and this other one is also thriving because you poured your life into it, and you're seeing how it is changing the narrative in your industry or for the people that you serve. Okay, and so you want to keep on adding things from your career list, even if it's not the full career, but elements of it. For instance, if you say you write out that, oh, in one of my lives, I want to be a podcaster. I love podcasts. I want to be a podcaster. Um, you don't need to quit your job to begin to podcast, for instance. So you can have a podcast channel, and then you can begin to podcast by the side. Okay, and you can begin to narrow down the topic, the type of conversations you want to have, the kind of people you want to have conversation with in your podcast, and you can begin to do that alongside your current job. And so you grow it to a point where it is a thing on its own, and then you can then add another another career from one of your lifetimes. So, for instance, one of your careers may be you want to be an author. You want to just be writing books, having TED Talks, traveling the whole place, having conversations. That's another career that you might want to have, and you want to live off profits from your book sale. You want to live off profits from honorariums from speaking engagement. That you can add maybe a year or 2 years down the line. You can add those to your current life. You continue building out like that until you get to a point where you are living the perfect life that you want to live. Okay. I hope this helped. I'm going to also see if I can share, maybe I'll drop in the group, share like a workbook for the 9 Lives framework. Okay. There's one I came across. I can just share that with you, so that you can use to build out your own framework for yourself. Okay. Right, so I've come to the end of this video, and I really hope that you got the point. And I'll just try to summarize. Summary is this: before you get married, or before you begin to pull someone into your life as a life partner, get your acts together in terms of your job or your work. Get at least one of them. There are instances where you may not have a job, but you have a work that you're doing that is not yet getting you income or substantial income. It is better than having nothing, because that work that you're doing, if it is adding value, like, remember this: some people do work that is useless, and they say it's a passion. If it is adding value to humanity, it's just not going to be long before you get paid for it, even if you're doing it for free at the moment. So it must be adding value. People must find what you're doing valuable, and they must be willing to pay for it. You may not be charging them yet, but they must be willing to pay for it at the end of the day. Okay. I just wanted to add that very carefully, because I know people that got married, but they were working, but they didn't have substantial income, but they were adding significant value in whatever they were doing. So that is also very crucial too. If you don't have a job that is giving you the kind of income that you want, but you want to quickly move to a place where you are earning some income, because that's going to help you to do some of the things I mentioned in terms of in terms of being a provider in your family, and in terms of trying to pursue that long term. Because if it's not giving you income at some point, the voices in your environment will begin to stress you out. in terms of, are you sure this is working? Are you, you hear a lot of voices, especially for people that care about you. They will probably put a lot of pressure on you to go do something else, or to go and find an income generating job, or work, right? So yeah, I hope this has been able to help someone, um, right? I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday evening, 6:30. We're going to have that. We're going to have our live session, and I want to begin to go into personal discovery, because that's the basis foundation for successful relationship. You need to know yourself first before you even know the kind of person that you should get married to. Yeah, not every woman is good for you. Just take that from me. Not every woman is good for you. Okay, there's a type of woman that is good for each type of man. So you need to discover yourself first before you begin to go on that journey of searching for a compatible partner, that would, move your life forward, or that you can build a family with, right? So see you guys on Sunday. Cheers. Bye.